Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to take a look at a spicy Mega Heracross EX deck that I've been working with. So, as you may have hinted at, and also I kind of described it when it came to this week's videos, Mega Heracross is not great. That's why it's last in my to-do list for the Megas at least. At least Sharpedo, outside of my misplay yesterday, was at least, very strong, having the max belt, the black belt, double monkey, at least Sharpedo can actually do its job. But Mega Heracross, not so much, and that's kind of why, one, he's last, but also two, I've gone with a bit more of a creative build. So before we continue, as per normal, in the description below, there's going to be the usual links, start with the deck list, which is also available to copy in the description below, games that we'll play, and also the outro and what I think of the deck. So the whole point is, we're playing one copy of the new Mega Heracross EX. And I've chucked him into Tera Box. Why Tera Box? Matchup spread is the politest way I can put it, because this guy in a Grass Box deck is ass. That's the politest way I can describe him. But Mega Heracross does, at least with the build that I've gone with, have some legs. Now, we're not playing Survival Brace. I've tried the Survival Brace version with this deck. It sucks. I'd rather just have Crystal and just, be a Tera Box still, but still have the option to use Heracross. And that's sort of the idea I've gone with. So we have two attacks on him. He's a basic 280 HP Grass Pokemon. We have Juggernaut Horn for 100 plus. If this Pokemon was damaged by an attack during your opponent's last turn, this attack does that much more damage. Think of it like Counter from the actual games. In a way, obviously Counter doesn't do base damage, but you get my point. Then we have, for 3 grass, Mounted Ramming for 170. Discard the top 2 cards of the opponent's deck. Believe it or not, in the Survival Brace version, I was using that attack quite a bit, and I only had 4 grass in here when I have 5, because, Teal Mass Draw is just broken. So obviously, we are playing Bravery Charms to try and facilitate the Mega Heracross, and obviously, lean into his Juggernaut Horn where possible, but Mounted Ramming is actually pretty good, 170, taking out basic Pokemon, Grass Weak Pokemon like Charizard EX, he can potentially do that, and obviously Milling 2 is always nice to do anyway, but if we can get Mounted Ramming going, that's probably going to be my priority attack in this. Obviously, being a Tera Box deck, we do have 2 copies of the Teal Mask Ogerpon. Not only is he really good, just in general, because obviously he attaches basic Grass Energy to the board and draws us a card, but he's a backup attacker as well with his Leaf Shower attack, and of course we are playing Energy Switch, which is always a good card to have in a Tera Box list. Then of course we've thrown in 1 copy of the Wellspring Mask Ogerpon. I did want to try 2, but 1's been fine so far. You could add a second, and if you want to do that without playing Mega Heracross, just cut the Heracross and play 2 of these. Honestly, Heracross has not been that useful, and he's very niche in his abilities. So that's sort of why I'd recommend playing a second Wellspring instead of the actual Heracross in this deck, but you get my point. Then we do have Pikachu as well. Pikachu's just solid all-rounder, and well, we're playing Grass Energy, we're playing the 1 copy of Lightning Energy, 1 copy of Metal, and of course we are playing the Crystal, so why not? And plus he's an inbuilt Survival Brace, and he's actually useful. You know what I mean? Like, Pikachu at least, whilst it is fighting weak, there's only a couple of Pokemon that can comfortably one-shot this dude, and, well, Pikachu's just broken anyway. 300 damage is an insane number to be hitting. He hits for Lightning Weakness as well, although nothing that's Lightning Weak is going to survive that Topaz Bolt. But he's an inbuilt Survival Brace. He does everything that Heracross should be doing. Like, Heracross is literally an armoured bug. Why is he not having this sort of ability? But you get my point. Then, of course, we've got the usual Latias, Lillie, Clefairy, and Mew. We've also got the Fez in here, Bloodmoon Ursaluna, a Ditto just to help us get set up. Playing 2 copies of the Fan Rotom as well, a 4/4 Hoothoot Noctowl line with the 180 HP Hoothoot, and finally a Terapagos for our Pokemon attacking lineup. Honestly, I think this version is better than the one I tried with the Survival Brace, but hopefully you'll appreciate the list, so let's go and have a look at it. And welcome to the deck list. So, as I said, this is quite an unusual take on Mega Heracross. It was more for my personal benefit, having the extra matchup spread. Because obviously it's all well and good leading into Juggernaut Horn and everything like that, but I'll be honest with you, the cards are not worth building around, so, I wanted to give myself a better matchup spread where even if we do use the Heracross, we can still potentially win the match because of my inclusions. So as I said, we're playing a 4-4 Hoothoot Noctowl line for obviously Max Dual Seeker. We do love it. 2 Fan Rotoms, 2 Tealmask Ogerpons, 1 Terapagos, 1 Pikachu, 1 Latias, 1 Mew, 1 Fez, 1 Bloodmoon Ursaluna, 1 Ditto, 1 Wellspring Ogerpon, 1 Heracross EX, obviously in the Mega, and 1 Lillie's Clefairy. Then we're playing 4 Crispin, 2 Boss, 1 Turo, 1 Iono, 1 Lillie's Determination, this card is broken, 4 Nest Ball, 2 Energy Switch, 2 Ultra Ball, which you could bump into 3 by cutting a rod, but, you know, Tera Box lists eat through energy, so it's just good to have the double Super Rod, at least in this version anyway, because obviously we're accommodating for the Heracross. If you want to cut the Heracross and put in a second Wellspring, like I said, cut the rod. You could probably fit something else in here and obviously cut down to 1 charm. Then, of course, Earthen Vessel, Night Stretcher, Counter Catcher, 2 copies of the Bravery Charm to obviously mainly go on him, but, you know, can go elsewhere, so that's why I threw in 2 copies. 1 Air Balloon, 1 Sparkling Crystal, 2 copies of Area 0 Underdepths, 5 basic Grass Energy, 2 basic Psychic Energy, 1 Metal Energy, 1 Lightning Energy, and 1 Water Energy. So far, this list has been the better version of the 2 that I've played at least, because obviously I did make 2 versions. I made a Survival Brace version, and I made a Crystal version, which has just been better. As I said, I really think we're let down by Heracross not having a decent ability. You know, like, obviously none of the Megas really have a good ability. In fact, I don't think any of them do. But I think Heracross would have benefited from having a similar ability to Pikachu. I know obviously Megas at the minute don't have abilities per se, but the fact is Heracross should have been that one. He's an armored he's an armored beetle for crying out loud. Why does he not have the same ability, or at least something similar, to Pikachu? Maybe, I don't know, if this Pokemon is full HP and be knocked out by damage from attack, it is not knocked out and its HP becomes, I don't know, 30, you know? Differentiate it, or maybe something different. If this Pokemon would, you know, survive a hit or whatever, something like that, I don't know, discard all energy from the active Pokemon, you know, give it a downside, because obviously Pikachu survives on 10, but Pikachu can still die to a burn. Give something that Heracross could have done, you know, have an ability that would have at least made him work better, and not make us play a dumb ace spec, because, like, Survival Brace is a bad ace spec, I'm just going to say that right now. And that's sort of why I've gone for the Crystal build, so then we at least have the matchup spread. Anyway, less of my rambling about this bloody card. Let's get into some games and see how we do. And welcome to the first game. I'm looking forward to seeing if this version can do better than the Survival Brace version. Believe it or not, I have about an hour's worth of footage where I was playing the Survival Brace version. I literally used Heracross once, and it wasn't with the Survival Brace. He was literally just mountain ramming. That was literally all he did. And, you know, if I'm doing that, it's not exactly upselling him very well. And, like, I don't want anyone to, like, build around this card because, you know, it's not a great card, and it never really has been. Pikachu start, I'll take that, that's not bad. I'd have preferred this to be a Metal Energy or a Lightning. Ooh, Festival leads, okay. Interesting. This could be very interesting. And 2 Grookey's, so we could be okay here. And we top deck the Fan, beautiful. Let's do that. So we'll grab you. Oh, I can't grab another 70 HP Hoothoot. I am clicking on it. I don't know if anyone can hear my clicking. But yeah, I can't seem to grab him. That's fine. I'll do a proper prize check when I Nest Ball, because I want a Nest Ball for a Teal Mask. So, we've got 1 Teal Mask in the prizes, speak of the devil. There's the Heracross at the very least. We had no Noctowl's prize, which is nice. Obviously, we've got 1 in hand. We have prized our Iono, it would seem, but that's okay. Other than that, I just need to check the energy. So we've prized 1 grass, and we prized the water. That's fine. I can live with that. So then we can Teal Dance. Get a Nest Ball. Beautiful. We can grab the Wellspring. Obviously, we don't need the water energy, because I believe Crystal was in there. Yeah, it is. Good. And we might as well threaten a turn 2 Wellspring. All I'll say is the Crystal build is just infinitely better. Like, genuinely better. We could even go for Noctowl Jewel Seeker, go for Boss plus Area 0, and we can actually take out both those apples. The Sea King, because some of them do play the Sea King, is not a threat to us. Not really, anyway. I more want to focus on the apples, you know, because the apples are the main attack of this deck. I'm not too bothered about the Grookey's, because yes, they search them cards, but the apples are more dangerous to us. So, we'll evolve the ATHP one, and we'll use Jewel Seeker. So now we will go for, because we need the Crystal, and we need Area 0. I can then Ultra Ball for another Noctowl. And then I can grab myself I can grab a Nest Ball for Latias, and I can grab myself a Boss as well. And yes, I know I'm not benching the man of the show, shall we say, but trust me, there's no reason to right now. I've just noticed the Latias is a bit bugged. I don't know if anyone saw that. So then we'll go Crystal here, attach for turn, Boss the apple, free retreat, into the Wellspring, and Torrential Pump. Shuffling energy back in, and take out both apples. That's that one done. Nice and easy. We've got a Charm for later as well, which we can always use. There's our Iono at the prizes, and one of our Night Stretchers. Excellent. Well, I say one of our Night Stretchers. That is the Night Stretcher, but you get my point. But no, so far so good. The only thing that, you know, we'd like to see... In fact, hold on. Does Bangle do it for him? 90... No, it doesn't. He'd need Black Belt to take out this Wellspring. At least if memory serves, because it's 60 on the Sea King, plus 30 from the Bangle. He would need Black Belt plus Sea King plus energy. Lillie's Determination. Okay, yeah, makes the most sense. You're drawing 8. You could very easily get what you need. So he needs Seek. Well, he can't take out our Wellspring now. But, you know, he could do something, I guess. We can always just sob for turn. I'm happy to sob for turn. It's not a big deal. Go Bravery Charm to, I don't know, Latias, because obviously that's quite an important card in this matchup. Well, in fact, no, the Bravery Charm wouldn't really work too well for him. We could Charm the Rotom, I guess, and just go aggressive with the Rotom. He's getting down to Shaman, that's fine. We don't need to Wellspring anymore. Heracross would be kind of bad in this matchup because, you know, we're not really doing a lot with him, but he's got no apples down, which is a good thing. That's at least a positive. I don't need to Wellspring every single turn. There's the Grass Energy. Does he have the Sea King? No. Okay, that's fine. There's a Turo. I'm not too bothered about the Turo, so I'm just going to Iono. I could grab Bear out this pile, but I don't think it's necessary. Okay, we can attack with a Fan Rotom here and take out its only attacker, which I agree with. Do I want to bench the Clefairy? I don't think I do, so I'm just going to attach, free retreat, into the Fan, and Assault Landing. Take out the Goldeen. So now he has no attackers, which is just, you know, beneficial for us, you know? Like, we've got our Water Energy at the prizes now, we've got, you know, Shaman now coming into the active, which we can't KO. I'm not too worried about that. But, honestly, that's been pretty smooth. Sorry if you had, like a doorbell going then. Doors going. Luckily, I'm not the only one in the house today, so I don't have to worry about that. But, yeah, generally, like, we've gotten off to a really good start here. Like, I don't think Heracross is worth grabbing in this matchup. But, you know, we could obviously Crispin and, like, get some draw going. We can't really use Pikachu either. I wonder why he's grabbing the energy and put it on the Thwackey. Does he play the Rillaboom, maybe? I've been seeing that pop up every so often. There's another Thwackey. Like I said, I have been seeing a Rillaboom doing the rounds in Festival Lead. There's an Ultra Ball. Get rid of a Body Puffin and a Lillies. That's fine. Like I said, I'm not really sure what he's... Yeah, there's the Rillaboom. There's the Rillaboom. So it does 60. Drum beating. During opponent's next turn, attacks use body. What was it? Defending Pokemon costs colours more, and its retreat costs colours more. So the colours more effect shouldn't bother us because of Latias. I don't think it bothers us because of Latias. No, didn't think so. So we need to deal with this Rillaboom, but luckily we have the Clefairy in hand. Do I have Psychic in deck? I believe I did. So I can go for that. We can then Crispin. Grabbing you and you. We will then put the Grass to hand. Sorry if you heard a lot of doorbell at the minute. I don't know who the hell's at the door, but still, it's very annoying when you've got a mic filter and it's coming up, but you know, it's fine. So then we'll retreat out into the Clefairy and form a Rondo 260, take out a Rillaboom. I don't think he expected me to do that. I was just checking the door then. Not sure who it is, but it's fine. Looks to be a parcel delivery, it seems. But no, luckily we had the Clefairy and he just scoops it up. I don't blame him. Alright, let's go to a game 2. And welcome back to game 2. That was pretty smooth. We didn't even need the Heracross, as I keep saying. Obviously, I will try and attack with him, but it's kind of hard when, you know, he's not really worth using in a lot of matchups. Like, I'd understand if, like, Heracross, you know, hit like a truck, or at least had something going for him that wasn't, you know, oh, I redo the damage back that you just did to me, you know, like, I understand that's his his design and everything, but no, I don't agree with it. Alright, well, we start the Ditto at the very least. Slowpoke. So we're probably facing, what's his face? Slow King. That could be an issue. So let's go and grab our fan. Let's do a quick prize check. We've got one knocked in hands. That's fine. The Heracross is in the prize cards. That's fine. Can always get him back later. Wellspring is also in the prize cards, which is a problem. We kind of want that. Yeah, this is going to be quite rough, I think. This is going to be quite rough. So we'll go Hoot. In fact, I'll grab the 80 HP Hoot. I like to thin this guy out because obviously if later on we need him, you know, like he's pretty useful to have. Then we'll Transformative Start. We'll turn you into a Teal Mask. Then we can get some Teal Dance value. There's Terapagos. Terapagos isn't too good in this matchup, but he is a nice early attacker, so I think I'm going to just attach to the Terapagos there and pass. Having the Wellspring and the prize cards is probably going to bite us in this game, I'll be honest. There's Body Puffin. Like I say, not having the Wellspring is really going to benefit our opponent here. Obviously, as I said, we're only playing one copy because, you know, we can't fit everything into a deck, but yeah, we're not playing, you know, like huge accounts of our attackers and stuff, as Tera Box mostly doesn't anyway. But you know, having them in the prize cards could be a problem. Now, luckily for us, he's attached to the bench, so we could go for that. We can go Boss, and we can go for an Earthen Vessel, or I'll actually do one better. I can go for an Energy Switch, but then again, I get more energy into play this way, and then I'll Noctowl again. So I can grab my Latias. That way I can, you know, keep everything in check. So I'll grab a Nest Ball and an Area 0. So then we'll Nest Ball, grab a Latias. Area 0. Earthen Vessel away one of the rods. We don't need 2 rods in this matchup. I'll take the Water Energy. Then we'll Teal Dance to the Teal Mask. That's pretty useful. Free Retreat into Terapagos. Attach the Water. Boss the Slowpoke with the Energy. And Unify Beat Down. Take out the Slowpoke. Pretty smooth start. Hopefully we get Heracross off the prizes. That's not Heracross off the prizes, but that is an Energy. We can use that. Pretty smooth start. And there's the Young Goose. This is the one that we played in that Slowpoke video a while back with the evidence gathering. You know, it's pretty good card. I'm not gonna knock it, you know. But like I say, we've had a pretty good start so far. Let's hope they don't get like Kyurem off that Seek Inspiration, like Reversal plus Kyurem. Okay, bump in the stadium, that's fine. It does mean we're a bit cramped for our attackers though. He whiffs on the Mezagoza, that's good. Wonder why he's played that. I mean, I guess you don't have to if you're playing the Gumshoes, but, you know, we are still able to attack. Like, we're not at the woods, so to speak. Well, we're at the woods, he's not. Night Stretcher, probably going back the Slowpoke. That's fine, we can still take it out with Terapagos. I mean, he won't play, like, basic Pokemon that can attack. Maybe a Bloodmoon for the late game, but I doubt it. I certainly didn't see the need to. But no, this isn't looking good for our opponent here. Like I said, with my Heracross stuck in the prize cards, we can't really do a lot. We can at least Lillies. Get some value off of that. There's Charm. Charm would be nice, but if he's playing the... Oh, what was the card? Is it Haxorus? That could potentially be an issue. So I think I'm going to Charm the Fan, because that way the Fan is out of Kyurem range. And I'm just going to Lillies. Okay, not particularly useful. I'm just going to Unify Beatdown and take out the Slowking, I guess. Not having the option to Wellspring is really biting us right now. There's Turo. Okay. Still got Heracross stuck in the prize cards, which is just typical. He wouldn't be good in this matchup, to be fair, but milling, to be fair, he'd be milling cards, which would be really nice. Like milling, you know, Max Rod, Slowkings, you know, stuff like that. He wouldn't be too bad, it's just, you know, I'd rather not do that. So there's Mezagoza. He can get something off now. He can grab the Haxorus. I believe it's the Haxorus. He's grabbing an 80 HP Slowpoke. Why are you playing this one? I mean, it does, you know, help it. There's Wondrous Patch. And Research. There's Conkeldurr. At least that's in the discard for now. There's another Young Goose. Body Poffin. I suppose the 80 HP one is kind of like why we're playing an 80 HP Hoothoot, you know? Like, it has... it can survive against Dragapult, I guess. That's probably why he's playing it. But no, I think he's whiffed on the energy, which is really good. I mean, we could take out the Gumshoes, but he's got a 2-2 line in that deck, so there's not really much point. But no, this isn't looking good for our opponent at all. Like, genuinely, this is not looking good for him. Obviously, he can still very much come back from this. There's an Air Balloon. He's going to Clefairy here, which I think he's going to do. He is. That is fine. I could now Crispin and, you know, set up Fan Rotom and attack with it. Put a single prizer in the active, but, you know, I don't think that's particularly great. Let me think here, because like I said, I could attack with a Fan, and that would force Gust out of him. But if he's got Gust, he's just going to use it anyway. And if he wants to take out the Fan, he can do. I think it's correct to Crispin here. We'll take the Grass to hand. Metal to the Fan. I'll then Teal Dance to the Ogerpon. Because then Ogerpon can still be an attacker. We can set up another Hoothoot. Obviously, we have to be careful of Kyurem. But, you know, if he cures us, he's going to cure us. And we'll just Assault Landing, take out the Clefairy. I'd love to see Heracross off this prize card. That is not Heracross, that is a Grass Energy. It's going to be quite hard to set him up now, because obviously 3 of our grass is on the Ogerpon. We do still have... How many Energy Switch? I'm trying to... You're interrupting me here, mate. That's the only thing I hate about PC Live. Well, there's many things, but we'll gloss over that. No Energy Switch used. We have got a grass in the discard pile, so we're actually out of grass energy. So we need to use a Super Rod. This isn't looking good for our opponent, though. He's not really doing a lot. But like I said, he can very easily come back from this. And if we can gust that Slowpoke, we might just get our opponent to concede. But no, you see why I went the Tera Box approach. Like, you know, we have so many different lines and obviously so many different attackers. We're not overly reliant on Heracross. There's Turo. So he can get the Slow King now. Evolved at least. That's fine by me. There's an Ultra Ball. What's he going to grab though? He could grab Kyurem here, which would be an issue. Because he can take 3 prize cards here. What's he going to grab? It's probably going to be the Kyurem. Then again, no, he can't take 3 because obviously the Fan Rotom's got the charm on it. The Haxorus, that probably means he's got Counter Catcher. That's not good. That's not good. Don't tell me you have CC in a 2-card hand. I mean, he could get it off of the Gumshoes, but, you know, that's highly unlikely. Night Stretcher. Yeah, my opponent's not doing too well here. And then Seek Inspiration. Well, I mean, he could also... Well, in fact, what's the attacks of it? It's Axe Blast, I think he's going to use. He has to use Axe Blast. Interesting he didn't grab Kyurem. He could have took 2 prize cards this turn. And yeah, he's copying Axe Blast. Down goes the Fan. I mean, on the positive side, we don't see a way for him to get multiple energy onto his Slowking, but he could play Reversal Energy. Let's promote the Terapagos. And we will draw for turn. Nest Ball is not particularly great. So, we might as well use the Mensagos, or we might as well. That'd be rude not to. Well, that's the end of that plan, isn't it? We can Nest Ball. We could grab another attacker. Because obviously Pikachu would be one-shot by Haxorus, because obviously it's an effect of an attack. I think it's correct to grab Clefairy here and just have that as a backup attacker. So, I'm going to attach an energy to it. And yeah, we'll just Unified Beatdown, take out the Slowking. I'm not seeing any evidence of, you know, Reversal Energy. There's the Wellspring. That could be clutch. We could win because of that. We could win because of that. Obviously, we need a little bit more yet, but we could do it. We could definitely do it, because we can just Noctowl for double E or Energy Switch, go Spark and Crystal, boss for game on the Gumshoes. We have game here. It's a shame Heracross was stuck in the prize cards. I could have very easily got it going, but it's fine. I don't think my opponent's coming back, though. We've got multiple attackers set up. We don't need to constantly attack with Terapagos, but it's just the easiest one and the safest one, because it's the bulkiest, 230 HP. It's quite hard for him to deal with. And yeah, I think my opponent has Rage Quit. Because he's not... You wouldn't promote the Gumshoes with no Air Balloon. You'd promote the Yungoos here. But no, it looks like it's going to be a game 3 for us. But that's fine. At least we might be able to use the Heracross there. But yeah, I'll cut to the end of the match because I think my opponent's Rage Quit. My opponent's actually come back. He's just played an Iono after I bossed his only Slowpoke. Ah, okay. Well, we're down to 1 prize card anyway, so, you know. We just got Heracross off the prizes, annoyingly enough, but obviously with that Iono, I can't get Heracross onto the field, and yeah, he's just conceded. Not sure why he saw the need to do that, but, well, I'll take the win. See you in Game 3. And welcome back to Game 3. It's quite unfortunate that we ended there like that, but hey, at least we got the Heracross off the prizes. If it wasn't for that Iono, I would have been able to Turo it, and, well, Turo the, I would have Turoed the Clefairy most likely, because obviously that only had one grass on it. Grabbed, because I had a Noctowl in hand, I'd have grabbed 2 E-Switch off of the Noctowl and then finished the game up with Heracross, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to do so because of that Iono. And even then, the opponent conceded before I could do that. Okay, Ditto start. I will definitely take that, especially in this matchup. Future Box. Interesting. This will be very interesting. We topped at the Heracross. Nice. We could actually use him in this matchup. Believe it or not, we could be milling stuff. There is, if he's playing LDF Swan, we could hit Iron Boulder for weakness. Anyway, let's not get bogged down, as Jeremy Clarkson would say by that. Let's do a quick prize check. So we've got 1 Hoothoot in hand. Obviously, we've got a couple of attackers accounted for in hand. We've got no notable cards in the prizes at the very least. We've got an E-Switch in the prizes, though, which could be a problem. And we've got our Metal Energy in hand. So, no, it's looking like a pretty good start. So, we'll just grab... In fact, I'll grab you, because I like grabbing you. The Hoothoot is nice to have. The 80 HP one, that is. So, then we will Transformative Start. We'll grab the Teal Ogerpon. Then at least we can get an energy down. And what I'm going to do next turn, well, I'm going to do that first, so that way we have that. I'm actually going... Should I bench the Heracross? I think I should. Because I could get it swinging next turn. I could. I only have 1 E-Switch, but I could do it. I'm going to bench him. Sod it. Let's do it. We only live once at the end of the day. I'm going to bench the Mega Heracross, and we'll pass. Because what I can do is I can grab Crispin plus E-Switch. And, well, no, I'd actually need both E-Switches to do it. There's a Nest Ball. Iron Valiant. So it's probably a traditional Future Box list. Techno Radar. That's fine. Like I say, it's quite annoying that we do have that energy in the prize card, well, the energy switch in the prize cards, but at least we can use him in this matchup. There's some crowns, that's fine. So he's going to do a bit more damage with peak acceleration, but that's fine. He'll be doing 80 here. Mystery Garden. Okay. I see the reasoning for that, actually. I'm like, some of you might think that's a bit daft, but no, I actually do see the reasoning for that. You play a lot of psychic attackers, you can use Wondrous Patch, you know, like, I think that makes complete sense. But no, that actually does make complete sense. So he's going to power up the Valiant, that's completely fine. So, what I'm thinking to do here is, I'm thinking of grabbing Crispin, E-Switch, then off the second Noctowl, grabbing Bravery Charm and Earthen Vessel. That's my thought process, because then I can get the Heracross swinging. So, let's do that. Because I need Bravery Charm to survive a hit from that Valiant anyway. So we'll do that. So then we will grab Vessel Charm. Vessel away the second Fan. We'll grab... We just need 1 grass in hand, but I'll take the water energy, because obviously we can go Crispin to the Heracross with the grass energy, put another energy to our hand, and then E-switch the grass off the Teal Mask. So that's why we need that. So then we play the Crispin, we'll take you and you. We put you to my hand. I'll put that on the Heracross. Energy switch off the Teal Mask onto the Heracross. Charm the Heracross, Free Retreat into the Heracross, and Mountain Ramming for 170. And mill 2 cards. Not bad mills, that isn't. That's pretty good mills. Getting rid of that jet energy could actually be important. But no, that's not bad at all. There's no way for him to one-shot our Heracross with an Iron Valiant. But no, I think this is probably the best way to just play this card, because, you know, it's just versatile. We have that option so much of just being able to, you know, do this sort of approach. But no, genuinely, I really do think, like, this is probably the best way to play Heracross, is just chuck it in Tera Box. Now, I don't think you need to play 2 Charms like I am, but I'm only playing 2 because, you know, Bravery Charm in Tera Box is actually surprisingly good. There's Techno Radar. Does he play the Boulder? Because Boulder would be nice to see. I don't think he does, personally. I don't think he'd play Iron Boulder here. What's he going to grab, though? He could grab more crowns, because the max he can do is 280. He's grabbing a Valiant and a Crown. Fair enough. What's his last card in hand, though? It's a Switch. Okay, we can use Juggernaut Horn. So there's Tachyon Bits. He's probably going to put it on the Heracross. Yep, so he's hitting 260. But, thanks to Heracross's Juggernaut Horn, we can respond with a knockout. So first of all, I'm going to bounce your stadium. I don't want you getting draw power, matey. Bench you. We'll attach Lightning to Pikachu. Mew for 1. That's not particularly great. And then we will Juggernaut Horn for 360, thanks to him hitting us, and take out the Iron Valiant. So now he's got no cards in hand, and he has no attacker charged up. Obviously, Juggernaut Horn will now do 100. For those that are curious, we'll only do 100. But we can use Mountain Ramming and start milling his deck. Who would have thought Mega Heracross would actually be racking up in this matchup, like I said he would. Okay, he's going for a Jet, that's fine. He can Tachyon Bits the active. Did we get rid of our Turo? No. We can potentially find Turo. That's fine though, I can just keep milling his board. Okay, I could also just take this out with a Pika. But for the content, I'd want a Mountain Ram. So let's do... I don't need you, so let's Crispin. No, wrong one. We want that in hand. The Psychic can go on the Wellspring, I guess, at the very least. Teal Dance. That's pretty good. We can attach to the Pika now. And yeah, Mountain Ramming, 170. Discard 2. Not bad. That's some of his search. I mean, fair play to him. He's still playing it out, but we're going to go down to 1 prize card after this turn. If he gets an energy, he can retreat the Valiant, I guess. He could grab Switch plus probably Ancient or Future Booster. He could grab that. But yeah, like I said, we're just going to use Heracross to just mill for now, and then we can just finish up the game with Pika. That's why I'm slowly manually attaching to the Pika. I'm not hugely threatened by his board state right now. The top deck of Armin's nice, though, I will say. He definitely did get good off that. But no, at least we got to use it. Okay, he's grabbing Prime. Prime makes sense. He's probably going to Prime one of the Noctowls, thinking that I don't have a retreat. There is that. He could, if he has... Well, what did he grab as well? He grabbed Future Booster. Okay. So you can retreat into one of the crowns and then Prime something and get this down to 10 HP. That's probably what he's going to do. Yep, he's grabbing a Noctowl, that's fine. He's protecting his Iron Valiant, which is fair enough. He could also Twin Shuttles in this game. Twin Shuttles is surprisingly a good attack. But we do have the retreat with the Noctowl. So we'll go back into the Mega Heracross, because obviously it's the only one that can attack. And we will Mountain Ramming. Mystery Garden and Nest Ball, not bad. Doesn't really help our opponent, but, you know, milling cards is always nice. And he gets the research! Oh my god, that's crazy. That's absolutely mad that he just got that. But no, that's actually quite a spicy build, you know, like it's focused around Iron Valley and, you know, it has the lines that you wouldn't expect. But no, I like what my opponent's doing here. I like it. Wondrous Patch, probably to the one on the bench with the Jet Energy already attached. We could, if we Super Rod back in, we could potentially attack with Wellspring for game. Because we could take 4 prizes. It's not a bad idea, that isn't. But no, he'll want to take out Heracross here. He'll want to take out Heracross. How many energies does he have in the discard? 7. He's putting it on the fresh one. Fair enough. Does he have a switch? Or 2 switches? Because he could take out Heracross here. Let's see what he does. Also, he needs a Stadium Bump to start disrupting me. But no, so far this has been pretty smooth. I mean, like I said, Mountain Ramen's obviously been milling stuff, but that was annoying that he drew that research. That's crazy. But hey, at least he's started a show now, but, you know, I do think the card is still ass. There's no polite way of putting it. You know, I'm not normally horrible about a card, but this card is ass. Oh, he's got the Jet. He can take out the Heracross. That's a good turn from him. That's a good turn. He can peak acceleration, charge up his boys. No, that's a pretty good turn. That is a pretty dang good turn. I'll give my opponent that. This could actually put us in a bad spot, you know. So that's a 3-prize turn for my opponent, thanks to that Miraidon Jet Energy. That's not bad at all. Alright, so let's see what we can do here. There's a Noct, but Noct doesn't really help us. So we're going to put back... Well, in fact, we're not going to put back the Heracross. He's done his job. We'll put back these. We'll do that. I really don't want to, you know... I really don't want to, like... Topaz Bolt on Miraidon. But I might have to, just for the prize trade. Because, like, he can't... Well, he can one-shot it, because obviously he can just go into a Valiant. But at the same time, I think just, you know, sobbing makes the most sense. He's down 3 Jets. How many switches is he down? He's down 1 switch, 1 prime. I think this is correct, personally. I think it's correct. And if he does take a prize card here, you know, we could be okay. He has to find a switch, though. He can't retreat this Miraidon. He has to find a switch. He has the switch. Fair enough. Now, will he ping the Pika, is the question. Because if he doesn't, I can deal with it. If he takes a prize card here, though, I can take out this Valiant. He can free retreat into the Valiant. He needs to ping the Pika. He has to ping the Pika. Tachyon bits. He has to ping the Pika here. No, he's focusing on that Teal Mask. You should not be focusing on that, mate. But no, he is clawing it back, because obviously we are kind of dead drawing right now. But no, we are going to lose our Wellspring here, so there's no option for us to go for game with this. But no, we still have that option. There's an Arven. Let's see what he gets off the Arven. Wondrous Patch, Future Booster. Like I say, he could actually win this game. Genuinely win this game. He could very easily win this game. That's 2 Wondrous Patches he's down now. Like, there's no way for us to recover the Wellspring, because we discarded well, we've got, what, 1 Super Rod potentially left. But no, we could actually lose this game now. We don't need to worry about that. We've got 3 Teras in play. We'll promote the Mew, because obviously it does have free retreat. And we will draw for turn. There's Super Rod. That is pretty useful. We'll get back you, and you. It's a shame we don't have thingy down, because that would be nice. What I'm on about here is Fez or anything like that. So our only line is Topaz Bolt. If he has it, he has it. We take 2 prizes. There's Clefairy and Turo, but it's a bit late for both of them. If he has a way to get an energy onto this Valiant, he wins, because he just needs to ping the Pika. And he's got the Night Stretcher. That's game. I'm not gonna waste any more time. That was a pretty good game. I really enjoyed that game. Really spicy build for my opponent, you know, like the Wondrous Patch, the Valiants themselves. I also noticed that he's playing the promo ones, which is nice. But hey, we did get to attack with the Heracross quite a bit in that game, which is the main goal of everything. So, what did I think to the deck? This is definitely a deck that, you know, I would say is a good deck with, you know, like, with the way it is right now. But I'll be brutally honest with you, if you are wanting to play Mega Heracross, this is probably the best way to do it. In a Grass Box deck, it's not great. At least with Tera Box approach, you do have a lot more attackers. Obviously, as we saw the Clefairy, you know, that can be useful as we saw in the Festival League game. You know, having Terapagos, having Pika as an attacker as well. Obviously, Pika's not great into a Future Box with loads of Valiants. But you get my point. Like, we have the lines that a normal Heracross build wouldn't necessarily have. Obviously, with us losing our Wellspring there, that did kind of bite us. Even if we had the option to, you know, Wellspring, we still needed a Water Energy or a Sparkling Crystal to actually get the Wellspring to attack the game. But no, generally, I think with some tweaks, this is probably the best way to play Mega Heracross. I think playing the Survival Brace, well, the Survival Brace itself, is a trap. I don't think you should be playing that, but we did get to use Juggernaut Horn, which is the important thing. But yeah, personally, I don't think you should play Mega Heracross. It's a terrible card, and it's really hard to build around, but like I said, with a Tera Box approach, I think personally that's probably the best way to play it. But anyway, I'm going to leave you all to it for today. I really hope you enjoyed seeing Mega Heracross with Tera Box, and I'll see you next time.